All right. So I'm finally getting to interview Temeshia. Temeshia, how's it going today?
Everything's going great. Today's a good day.
You're busy today, right? You're doing a handful of things.
Yes, yes. So I've got a couple of interviews lined up. I've got to schedule those all out and I'll be good to go.
And you said something like you got 12 interviews tomorrow?
Yes, I have 12 interviews tomorrow for one of my clients. They're hiring for an area sales manager, so that's going to be great.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Well, let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's talk. Let's kind of talk from the top down, right? So, obviously, you went through the mentorship program,
Mhm.
and prior to getting into the mentorship program, were what were you doing? Like, what were you doing right before you jumped into the program?
So right before the program, I was actually working for tech support,
Okay.
um, trying to do the class at the same time. And I actually just was I had money saved and went for it, full on recruiting.
You were all in. You were just like, yeah, I think because we were talking a little bit beforehand. You said you were just like, hey, I'm done with this. You're ready to get into recruiting. You want to be
Yeah.
your own boss. Yeah, I love it. I love it. And so many people don't realize that they can do that. So I'm glad you bring that up as a point. But recruiting itself, though, your experience level, like, have you done any recruiting before? Staffing, any of it, or
So I was kind of working with a staffing company, but as far as knowing how to recruit on my own, I actually did not have much knowledge.
got it? Okay, yeah, which is another huge point that comes up because a lot of people are recruiters that come into the mentorship program and they can recruit, but they don't know how to run a recruiting business or a staffing agency, right? Which is
Right.
entirely different from the craft itself of actually just recruiting, right? So it's a really good distinction. So so let me ask you this. Let's just go straight into it, right? So tell me, and we've been meaning to do this interview for a while, but we finally got it set up. Tell me the story about your first client when you landed your first client.
Okay, so my first client is actually a company of someone I know, Santa Services. We were actually just out and about, just having fun, kind of talking, going to lunch. And they mentioned that they were needing to recruit somebody for a new position they have in another state. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, so what are you going to do to recruit? And they were like, well, you're going to do the recruiting. And I'm kind of like, oh, okay, I'll send you a contract. And it was signed within 30 minutes.
30 minutes signed.
Yeah.
Get that, everybody. Okay, I think you take the cake on that. I don't. I mean, I think some quick contracts have been signed, but 30 minutes is pretty fast.
Yeah.
So
Great.
yeah, real good. And that's for how many roles?
That was actually for one role
Okay.
uh, out in Indianapolis
Hmm. Okay, perfect. And you're located
in Tennessee.
Tennessee, right? So hey, everybody, recruiting and staffing is nationwide. FYI, just in case you didn't know. So amazing, awesome. So let's talk numbers, right?
Mhm.
So essentially, that client, give us the numbers on pipeline with that, and then what you've already done and accomplished, like cash collected and pipeline.
And so right now I'm looking at about a 26K pipeline, and I've collected about a little over 6,500 from that one client.
Beautiful. So you're on your way.
Yeah.
And there's another little secret hiding behind that too, right? With
Yeah.
the
And
other opportunity.
to find another person. Yes.
Okay. And not only that, but didn't they also have another location?
Oh, yes, 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 yes. So they actually opened another location in South Haven, and they're actually expanding in a lot of places. So I'll be helping with that. And my second client is going to have me hire for the two other roles that they have, and so it's going to be great. All in all,
Perfect.
it'll get at least 70K as a
I love
pipeline.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good projection right there. I love that. Always good when you can get in with a company that's expanding. and whatnot, plus all the other companies that you have in the pipeline that will come through in the meantime. So that's amazing. So you were working the 9 to 5, sick of
Mhm.
it, jumped
Yeah.
into recruiting, got into the program, basically just jumped headfirst into the pool and went after it. And this is the first client result. So this is where it's at. And now you're heads down into it, like, full on, going through everything, and your outreach game is on point, your
Yeah.
messaging is on point. So you're just at this point just kind of rolling, with the incoming clientele and all
Ooh,
that, and the sourcing, obviously, with the
yeah.
12 interviews tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But I'll get through it, definitely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%. So amazing. I'm loving it. So two questions. Okay. So one that I think people are always interested in is, in the mentorship program, what was like the biggest takeaway for you in the program that like maybe like helped you like really blast off to get your first client, to get in the groove, like what was the biggest thing?
Um, Really, it was just the simplicity of it all. If you just follow the steps, you do everything as instructed, it's really, really easy to do. You just got to be consistent. You know, the more clients or the more candidates that you are prospecting for, the more opportunities you'll have. I mean, there are
Mm,
no, there's lots of yeses also. And so
100%.
yeah, my biggest takeaway from that mentorship is really just follow the steps.
I love it. Yeah, we have a system, you follow it, and you win, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, you've got to be consistent. You've got to put the work in. You got to do it, right? And all of that. But if you follow the system, you'll win. So okay, second and last final question, right? Because I know you're busy, like you said. But to anybody that's looking to join the mentorship program, and they're just dragging their feet, thinking about it. Oh yeah, that sounds amazing. I know I could be a killer recruiter, and I could open up my staffing agency and make $1 million this year. Like, what would you tell that person that's thinking those thoughts, that's on the fence? What would you tell that person?
Most definitely just go for it. I feel like it's worth it. One client, you've made your investment back plus some. It's easy, and I think overall, it investing in yourself is a big thing, and then it's an opportunity to make X amount of dollars. It just depends on how hard you want to go and what you're trying to make.
I love it. Perfect. I mean, I obviously agree with you. Right. So the ROI standpoint is 100% there, right? So, once you start making your first placements with the clientele that you acquire, you're already in the money, right? So you cover your investment, and then you scale, right? So, we look at it as, teaching someone how to basically build a
Right.
six-figure or multi-six-figure, and in some cases 7-figure business for those that go that far. And the ROI is kind of ridiculous. So, I'm so glad for your success,
Thank
and I'm gonna want to interview you again when you cap off that 70,000,
you.
or let's say when we cross over the six figures, we'll do another interview.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, Temeshia, I really appreciate your time, and let's get your roles closed, and super pumped for your success.